Hey, it's Eamon with ipXchange coming at you with another weekly roundup about what's been happening in the world of electronics. So if you could say the start of the week is Sunday this time. We started with a ProjeX interview with Magnus, one of our favourite members of the community. Then on Monday we had part 2 of Robustel's in-office visit about their 4G embedded routers. Tuesday and Thursday are kind of a part 1 and part 2 independently. All about wireless power transfer over the air, and we're talking kind of meters level, with the general concept of eliminating or removing a lot of batteries from IoT for a more sustainable IoT. And then the hump day Wednesday post was a practical demonstration of Valens' technology at CES. So Sunday, our ProjeX interview with Magnus Emenuga, which, I mean, he's probably one of the most supported people of ipXchange, and he had lovely words to say about the work we do, so we're so thankful for that. But the interview itself was about his IoT projects. He's an educator, but he also does a lot of IoT hardware development, and yes, it was mostly the interview itself was about these devices that he's fitting to generators in his home country of Nigeria, which might sound strange to begin with, but when we talked to him, we found out that a lot of people in Nigeria aren't connected to the main grid, so they run their homes off generators. The trouble is with these generators is that a lot of them they have a lifetime, they have maintenance issues, and what Magnus has created is a device. This one is running off ESP32 system that basically you retrofit to a generator. It doesn't really matter what brand it is, and it feeds back the power, if you can say, statistics / data of that generator, but also informs you of possible faults and basically predictive maintenance. So yeah, this is a great solution for this community because you don't want to be without a generator, and this means that it's much less likely that your generator is going to fail before you know it will. And I mean, that's the thing that we love about Magnus, is that he's really geared to helping his community, both from an educational standpoint and from a practical standpoint. And it was lovely to do an interview about an IoT device that wasn't just about collecting data for the sake of collecting data, so to speak. It was really trying to solve a problem. I suppose you could say that we've had quite an IoT week. So yeah, this is a great project to tag on to some of the other conversations that we had. So Monday, we decided to post part 2 of Robustel's visit to the office. Funnily enough, another IoT related video. For those who can't remember, Robustel make 4G routers, but the one that they were demonstrating in our office was the embedded 4G router, which presents engineers with a solution where they don't have to buy a 4G router, rip it apart, and take the board out, or design the whole thing for themselves. And that's essentially what this interview was all about. It was highlighting the key benefits to buying an embedded 4G router that's already fully designed for you, rather than sourcing the components yourself, doing the certification yourself, doing the software and cloud infrastructure yourself. There's a lot of time to market savings that come with Robustel's solution, but also there's a key solution to a problem where if you're working in a smaller type of quantity project, let's say 10,000 units, where you can't be ordering 100,000 or 250,000 cellular modules at a time from one semiconductor manufacturer, then the Robustel solution basically gives you the option to use really top quality chips. So we're talking about Quectel in this case, without having to kind of stockpile, because in the semiconductor shortage kind of culture that we live in at the moment, it's no one likes a stockpiler, but we do want access to the best technology, and that's what Robustel provides you. I think the main thing that blows my mind with their solution is that everything's really there for you already. So you're saving a lot of development time, but especially on the software side, because you got hardware developers, you got software developers, they got to work together. And when it comes to actually making the chip do what you need it to do in an application, that's the hard part. And Robustel have done that for you with the cloud stuff, with the security. So you got a good IoT, and this board can be easily retrofitted to older units like bus stops where you need that connectivity to update it. But yeah, with 2G and 3G being retired, 4G's the way forward, and this provides a very quick, easy fix. So Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to talk about at the same time because they kind of worked well together. They were all about wireless charging over the air to save the IoT, make IoT greener. Oh, well, we've gone away. Oh well. So on Tuesday, it was the first part of our kind of week of wireless power transfer for IoT. So we're talking about meters, like 10, even more. And yeah, when you think about what wireless power transfer can do to the IoT, which is kind of notorious for batteries being just filling up landfill, this could be a game changer. So on Tuesday, we talked to Air Fuel Alliance and Atmosic about kind of the standard side and the energy harvesting side of the technology. So obviously you're pumping out a lot of basically RF into the air at pretty high power, and that's got to be safe for people. But also you've got to pick it out with chipsets and use it to power devices. So Air Fuel deal with making sure all that stuff is safe, and Atmosic make MCUs with onboard RF energy harvesting to pick out that energy from the air and use it to power devices. And yeah, this is a great conversation. We got to discuss a lot of, I'm not sure if difficult is the right questions, but poignant questions about how to make IoT sustainable. And wireless power transfer is probably one good way to do it. And the nice thing about this technology is that thanks to the standards with Air Fuel, they've chosen frequency bands that make sure they don't interfere with standard IoT infrastructure like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But at the same time, they are really pushing the boundaries of what this technology can do. And that's where Thursday came up to kind of complete this discussion with Energous. So they make the routers is kind of a weird word because routers, you think about data communication. I think Energous calls them power bridges, trademark, and they beam out the power, but they also do data communication. So we're talking about streamlining your IoT to have power and data transferred using the same kind of hub. And yeah, Energous really brought this conversation to kind of a round conclusion with talking about how you can use this kind of infrastructure to reduce the amount of kind of transmitting components within your IoT. So for example, there's an example of using one of these power bridges in a warehouse setting. So you've got a warehouse that's a mile long, you've got this power bridge, and you've got all these electronic shelf labels or RF smart tags on all the boxes. And what the power bridge is doing is it's sending out RF energy that's being picked up by the smart tags, powering them, sending back the data. But there's also the data communication between the power bridge and the devices. And the cost of this technology isn't substantial. So you just have a power bridge every, I guess if the range is 22 meters, every 40 meters, let's say. And you can cover a whole warehouse with these power bridges. They're basically supplying all the power and data infrastructure to track all the parts in the warehouse. So yeah, these are two really interesting chats that you should watch together. You can watch them alone, but if you watch them together, you get a really good picture of wireless power transfer as it currently stands. And even though it wasn't the last thing we posted this week, on Wednesday we posted the practical demonstration of Valens' technology from CES 2024. So for those unfamiliar, Valens makes these SerDes chips, which enable really long cable lengths when you're transferring data, but also to kind of streamline that data for the MIFI A-PHY standard for automotive communications. So we're talking about power, sensor data, control signals, instead of being in a ton of different wires, just on like a single twisted pair, for example, which is absolutely insane. And this is a practical demonstration of this technology. So we're talking 4K video over 40 meters of, maybe it's not nice to say, but not very good cabling. And for anyone who knows about signal integrity, that you shouldn't be able to do that. Like 4K video shouldn't survive 40 meters of cable. So, and when I say not very good cabling, we're talking about like cheap cable, and there's reconnections within that 40 meters. But 4K video gets from one end to the other. And this is just a great demonstration of how you could use this technology, for example, in say a long vehicle like a haulage truck or a train carriage, I guess, for security cameras or parking cameras, and you still get that great data with minimal cabling, which saves on cost, saves on bulk. Yeah, just kind of a mind-blowing technology. And also just think about this for entertainment and broadcasting applications. You don't have to have repeaters dotted all around a studio, for example. You can just use these SerDes chips, use relatively crappy cabling, and you still get 4K video. So yeah, this is a nice thing to splice in with the rest, with the IoT content that we posted this week. So check it all out on ipXchange.tech, apply to evaluate that technology, and have a great weekend. Keep designing.
Hey, yo, where my engineers at?